The Nectar of Instruction, Text 11. कृष्णस्योच्चै प्रणयवसति प्रेयसीभ्योऽपि राधा कुण्डं चास्य मुनिभिरभितस्तादृग् एव व्यधायै यत्प्रेष्टैरपि अलम् असुलभं किं पुनर्भक्तिभाजां तत्प्रेमेदं सकृदपि सरस्नातुरविष्करोति. Krishnasya, of Lord Shri Krishna, Uchchai, very highly, Pranaya Vasati, object of love, Preyasibhya, out of the many lovable gopis, Api, certainly, Radha, Srimati Radharani, Kundam, lake, Cha, also, Asya, of her, Munibihi, by great sages, Abhitaha, in all respects, Tadrik eva, similarly, Vyadhai is described, Yat, which, Preshtai, by the most advanced devotees, Api, even, Alam, enough, Asulabham, difficult to obtain, Kim, what, Puna, again, Bhakti Bhajam, for persons engaged in devotional service, Tat, that, Prema, love of Godhead, Idam, this, Sakrit, once, Api, even, Sara, lake, Snatu, one who has bathed, Avish Karoti, arouses. Of the many objects of favoured delight and of all the lovable damsels of Rajabhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every respect, her divine Kunda is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kund is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. Why is Radha Kund so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radha Kund, is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radha Kund and Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radha Kund is very rarely attained even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidhi Bhakti. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis if he once takes a bath in Radha Kund. Srila Rup Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radha Kund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. This is a most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in this connection that Sri Radha Kund is the most select place for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends, Sakhis, and confidential serving maids, Manjaris, of Srimati Radharani, living entities who are eager to return home to the transcendental kingdom of God, Golok Vrindavan, by means of attaining their spiritual bodies, Siddha Deha, should live at Radha Kund. Take shelter of the confidential serving maids of Sri Radha and under their direction engage constantly in her service. This is the most exalted method for those engaged in devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that even great sages and great devotees like Narada and Sanaka do not get an opportunity to come to Radha Kund to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to Radhakund and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radhakund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and give up all material conceptions, taking shelter of Sri Radha and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Sri Radha in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the banks of Radhakund. The conclusion is that to live on the banks of Radhakund and to bathe there daily constitute the highest perfection of devotional service. It is a difficult position to attain, even for great sages and devotees like Narada. Thus, there is no limit to the glory of Sri Radhakund. By serving Radhakund, one can get an opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis.